With a raise of hands, how many times today did you walk past someone without really seeing them? And how many times did you answer, "I'm fine," when you really weren't? You can put your hands down. Most people don't hide their pain because they want to. They hide it because they don't believe anyone is really listening. Today, I want to talk about change. Not the change that causes headlines, but the change that starts quietly when someone chooses to care. When I was 11 years old, my parents divorced. I didn't understand the reasons or the adult problems behind it. All I knew was the place that felt like home was no longer one place. I remember the moment they announced it to me like it was yesterday. We were seated in the living room where we would usually share our laughs. But this time, it was different. I felt a weird pain in my chest. I had a feeling that what they were going to say in that moment was going to change my life forever. Suddenly, my life was divided into two. It was as though I was living two separate lives at once. Two houses, two bedrooms, two routines. You're so strong. You're handling this so well. Two sentences I heard over and over again from everyone around me. But deep down, I was not. All I wanted was a stable home with parents who discussed more than just custody over me. So I learned how to smile and say I was okay. I learned how to move between houses without complaining, how to pack my life into bags, and how to stay silent. I felt alone. Not because I wasn't loved, but because no one could truly see what I was carrying. How many times have we stayed silent out of fear of inconveniencing others? I'm sure most of us have. Holidays were the hardest. I had 2 Christmases, 2 birthday celebrations. People would smile and say, "At least you got double." But I didn't want more gifts or more celebrations. All I wanted was togetherness on one table. The table that shared all our family lunches, where my mom in the kitchen, my dad on the barbecue, my grandma telling me, "يقبر نتولك," when I grew 1 centimeter since I last saw her. But now, all gone. My pain that I tried to cover started to show in other ways. At school, things began to change too. My grades started going down. Not because I didn't care, but because my mind was always somewhere else. Sadness doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like silence, like a distraction, like a student staring at a board trying to stay focused. I also started noticing the people around me more. The student who jokes all the time, the student who misbehaves, the teacher who was labeled as short-tempered. It's easy to react to what we see. But do we really wonder what fuels certain behavior? One day in class, the room felt tense. The teacher's voice was sharp. At first, I felt hurt. Then, I stopped and thought, what if this isn't about us at all? What if she's carrying something difficult outside this classroom? What if no one is really listening to her either? That thought stayed with me because I realized something important. Behavior is often a language, and pain doesn't always speak gently. I began to notice how often we misunderstand people. The student who jokes all the time is told to stay quiet. The student who misbehaves is told to try harder. The student who talks back is labeled as difficult. But sometimes joking is how a person hides sadness. Sometimes misbehaving is the only way someone knows how to get noticed. And sometimes what looks like disrespect is pain, asking for attention. When we only see the behavior, we miss the person. And when we miss the person, we miss the chance to be the ones who make a difference. Then, something happened that changed everything. Our family dog, Dobby, who had been with us for 15 years, sadly passed away. Dobby was a German Shepherd, was with us before the divorce, before the silence, before everything changed. When he died, it felt like a piece of my childhood gone missing. I rushed home. My mom was there, crying. My dad arrived. And for the first time in years, we were all together. Not to argue, not to explain, not to fix the past, just to grieve together. No one tried to solve anything. They stayed. And after that day, my parents slowly came back together. It wasn't perfect. There were fears and there were scars. But they chose to try. And that choice changed my life. I felt lighter, safer. My grades began to improve. My friendships grew stronger. I started to laugh more. Real laughter. When my parents chose connection over distance, my life changed. That's when I understood something I carry with me every day. We often think change comes from big things, from fame, from inventions, from success. But that's not always how change happens. Sometimes the most powerful change comes from ordinary people making quiet choices, from noticing, from listening, and from staying. That is what it means to be a change maker. People don't act out because they want to be difficult. They act out because something inside them hurts. We notice the reaction, but we often miss the reason behind it. And when we rush to judge, we miss the opportunity to be the ones who change the moment. Being a change maker doesn't mean having the perfect words or the perfect solutions. It means choosing empathy over judgment, connection over distance, attention over assumption. My parents didn't heal our family with explanations. They healed it with their choice to show up for each other and for me. So today, I want to leave you with this. You don't need to be famous to change a life. You don't need to invent something new. You don't need a big stage. Being a change maker starts with one small decision: to really notice, to really care, and to really listen. Because behind every joke, every smile, and every act of anger, there is a story. We don't change the world all at once. But when we choose empathy, we become the change maker someone else needs. Thank you.